Hey y'all, welcome to Criminally Creative, a channel about my various creative endeavors. Today is Sunday, March 16th, 2025, and this is episode 80. I'm Susan. You can find me on Ravelry as Legal Eagle and on Instagram as Criminally Creative 1. That's the Arabic numeral 1. I always want to draw the 1 in there. I'm trying to stop doing I don't know why I'm trying to stop doing that, but for some reason I am. Anyway, if you're new here, I appreciate you coming back. No, I say that, I keep saying that. If you're new here, I appreciate you checking me out. And yes, my brain is not often in gear with my mouth, so this is common. I'm sorry. If you are returning, I appreciate you coming back, and I hope either way that you like what you see and will like, subscribe, do all the things. And feel free to leave me a comment or send me an email. In the description box below is always a link to a Google spreadsheet that has more information or has information on my cross-stitch projects with designer, fabric, stitch count, modifications I've made, that sort of stuff. If I forget to say something that you want to know the answer to, is probably in that spreadsheet. If it's not, feel free to ask. And I do show some knitting, and all of my knitting projects have a project page on Ravelry, so you can get more information about yarn and needle size and that sort of thing there if I forget to mention something. So anyway, let's move on to hearsay. Not a whole lot in the last couple weeks. Work has just been busy. I've been working some extra hours. So that's reduced stitching time and also reduced shenanigans in general. Couple of minor things. I had to put my car in the shop for a couple days. They still don't know what's wrong with it. It's not, well, it's done something I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it's done something temporarily a couple of times, and then it stops and they can't duplicate it, and it's not throwing a code, so they don't know what's going on. It has done it one time since I got it back from the shop, but so far it doesn't seem to be catastrophic, so we'll see. Eventually, I guess it'll either do it enough that they can figure it out, or the car will die. I don't know. We'll see. What else? I'm looking at my notes. If you see me looking over, I'm looking at my notes so I won't forget anything because my brain is a sieve these days. I have been completely enthralled by the Friends of Big Bear Valley Eagle Cam. It's on YouTube. They also have a Facebook group a Facebook page where they do summary-like videos with some written that tells you kind of what's going on if you're interested. But it is a live cam all the time, although the Nest cam has had some issues with the weather the last day or so. But they laid, Jackie, who is the female eagle, laid 3 eggs. They all 3 hatched. Unfortunately, in the last couple of days, it appears that one of the chicks has not made it. There was a big storm, and I don't think they know yet if it was just weather or if it was just, viability or what. But there are still 2 chicks, and it's just adorable to see them feed them. And I don't know, I'm fascinated by watching the eagles sit on top of the nest. It's been nice, pleasant entertainment and de-stress. Like I'll get stressed out at work, and I just go look at the eagle cam for 5 minutes. Anyway, that's about it, other than this weekend, Friday and Saturday, was Carolina Fiber Fest at the NC State Fairgrounds, which is a yarn, fiber, weaving, knitting, spinning type event. I actually used to be on the board of that event. But I rolled off a few years ago. Excuse me. I did not go to the event this year. I usually will take some time off Friday afternoon and go, but there's just too much work to do, and I don't need any yarn. Pardon me. And as I told my husband, I don't need any yarn, but if I go, I will definitely buy yarn. So I skipped the event, but I did have dinner with some friends that were at the event Friday night after they left the event. So that was nice. It was good to see them. And that's really about it. It is a cloudy, overcast, sometimes stormy day here in middle of North Carolina. I went to the grocery store yesterday because they were predicting huge thunderstorms today. We did have one this morning, and I think we're due to get another one this afternoon. But fortunately for us so far, at least, we have had some wind, but none of the tornadoes and stuff that seem to have hit further south. And, you know, they'll, to my knowledge, around here at least, not the loss of life and stuff that has happened in, I think, Missouri and Arkansas and maybe Louisiana. I'm not sure exactly. I've seen Missouri and Arkansas for sure. My husband told me he saw something about Louisiana, and he has some relatives down there. So anyway, doing laundry, and that's about it. But let's move on to the crafting portion. But actually, before I get to the actual crafts, I want to do this at the beginning of the show because I always forget at the end, is I wanted to do a few shout outs. I haven't done any shout outs for other Flosstubers in a while. And I realized recently that a couple of people had shouted me out, and because I always forget to check that tab for mentions, I had not, it had been several weeks since they had done so, and I had not thanked them. And so two newer to me and under 1,000 subs Flosstubers, so go check them out, subscribe, let's get them over 1,000. The first one is the Snitch Stitcher, Kim. She shouted me out, and I appreciate that very much. And also So Fly's Unique Boutique, which is Tammy. She has shouted me out twice now, and apparently started back at video number 1 of mine, and has been going through all my videos back when I was just knitting and before I got back into the cross stitch and stuff. So I really appreciate that, Tammy. You're very dedicated. Both of them have lots of good projects to look at. Tammy is doing a full coverage owl project that I really like a lot. Tammy is in Maine, I think. I don't remember where Kim is. I've been really behind on my floss tube, so I've only had a chance to watch 1 or 2 of each of their videos. So, but I do plan to watch more of them and keep up with them going forward. So check them out. And like I said, they're both under 1,000 subs. Also, a brand new Flosstuber, Jason Cross Stitches is the name of his channel. His name is Jason. He only has 1 video out that just came out this week. It just happened to pop up in my suggested, so I gave it a look. I'm guessing some other people have shouted him out because he is already over 1,000 subscribers. So he just started cross stitching like 4 or 5 months ago, and is already exploring lots of different types of patterns in cross stitch. And it's very interesting to just kind of hear it from kind of a newbie perspective of, you know, somebody really just learning about the craft. So go check him out. And then a couple others that I have been watching for a while, but I don't recall if I've ever actually shouted them out, that I thought I'd mention. Britches Get Stitches, Natasha. I enjoy watching her. She does more of a kind of vlog style video these days, where she does little video snippets throughout a week or 2, and then she combines them all into one video, usually with a on camera kind of summary type thing briefly. But the way she shows her projects usually is generally in snippets here and there, then combined into one video. So I enjoy checking hers out. She also does some model stitching too. So, and then Corey Creates is another one that I've been watching for a few months. I just found her a few months ago, although she's been around a lot longer than that. I've been enjoying watching her projects. And I love her voice. Her voice is so calming. She is a, excuse me, she is a school teacher and teaches what we call home ec. I think they call it something else. I think her primary focus in teaching is culinary, but she also does teach, I think, some sewing and stuff. And she has said what they call it now, and I apologize, I can't remember. I just think of it as home ec. So I can see where she is an excellent teacher in that regard, because she just has the most calming voice to me. So anyway, so I just wanted to get those out early, because I always tend to forget if I wait till the end. So even though I write notes, and then I still forget. So let's move on to the actual crafting. First up, I have one verdict, and it is just yet another hat. I told you last time that I had enough of these 3 colors to get one more hat out, and I did. So I just striping hat. This is Malabrigo Rios again. I think I told you, I think it's like lettuce, Paris Night, and denim. I don't know. So that is yet another hat done. And that is all we have for the verdicts. Court in session. The only knitting project I'll show you is in this bag my friend Peggy made me several years ago. I can find the end zipper. And I am just yet another hat. I pulled out a bag. This is all of my leftover Malabrigo Rios from other projects, and I'm just gonna make hats out of it, you know, and try to put, so I started with this teal color and knit till it pretty much ran out, and I added a little bit of this purple I had left, and now I'm adding like a navy. You know, I'm just gonna try to use up the scraps and make some hats, and if I keep, my plan is to kind of keep making them throughout the year, and then next fall I will donate them to, you know, one of the groups that works with homeless or less privileged people and stuff. So just trying to get some yarn out of the stash. I really need, I was talking with my friends that I had dinner with Friday night who were all kind of from the knitting realm and stuff about the huge stash that I have. And I love all of it, but I'm not knitting as much as I used to anymore, and how I really need to pull every single bit of it out and go through it and see and just whittle it down some. But I've realized that I love to knit shawls, but I have a ton of shawls that I don't wear. I mean, I was sorting some of the stuff that was stored in the guest room for when we swap beds and stuff. And I have a ton of shawls that I've finished that I haven't even blocked yet, that I haven't even, you know, washed them so that they could be worn. And I think I've woven in the ends, but I haven't actually blocked them. And the sad thing is I love to make shawls. I don't wear them. So I need to, and also I had a bag of sweaters from not this winter, but last winter that I'd put in a bag in there to wash, to put away. And I never, in the past year, year and a half probably, have not washed them to put them away. So I'm slowly, when I put them in the bag, it was still cold. And I thought, well, once the pollen's gone in the spring, then I'll wash them this summer where I can dry them out on the deck. You know, I can wash 4 or 5 at a time, dry them and everything. Didn't do that. So now I've got blocking boards on the guest bed, and I'm just washing them one at a time, turning the fan on in the guest room, drying them, and putting them away. Because the sweaters I will actually wear. I didn't wear them at all this winter because they were in a bag waiting to be washed. So I don't want to knit stuff going forward that's just for the sake of knitting it. So I'm trying to come up with things. I'd like to make some more sweaters because I will wear sweaters. But I have one sweater on the needles that's fingering weight that I'm trying to make myself finish before I start another sweater, because it's the one sweater that I had on the needles when I kind of got back into cross stitching. The knitting went by the wayside, that I really do want to finish. It's just, it's fingering weight, and it's seed stitch, which is time consuming and doesn't grow as fast. So, and it's seed stitch and cables. So it will get there. I've showed it to you before. It's the Earnest Cardigan by Hody Locatelli. But anyway, so we'll see. Right now, the sorting of the yarn is not going to happen because work is too busy and I don't have time. And, excuse me, when I have time, I want to craft and not sort. So, as you can tell by the chaos that's still going on behind me. Anyway, that's enough rambling about knitting. Let's move into the cross stitch. First up is in this bag by Lynn X Stitch Creates, Ruth Bader Ginsburg bag, and this is Kingdom of Books, which is my project that I'm trying, my full coverage project I'm trying to finish this year. I started this about August of 2016. I'm doing it with the kit 14 count Ada, the kit floss, 3 strands. I'm knitting, stitching the entire background and everything. Right now I'm aiming for about 3,000 stitches a month. And I have finished my 3,000 stitches for March. So this is where it currently is. I'm going to try to go back and then I'll show you where I've stitched this time. So this time where I worked was in here. And I think last time I showed it to you, maybe a little bit of the tops of these were done, but I'm not sure. But so this right in here is mainly what I have done this month. And that is 3,000 stitches. That is currently at 69%. So, and so far this year I have done 10,000 stitches on that. And still have 20-some thousand to go. So, and then next up, I don't have as many projects to show you this time because I haven't had as much stitching time, so it's taking me longer to get through the goals this month. But next up is in this bag by, I always have to look, it's Allegra Stitches. And this is a bag that's got 2 zip vinyl pockets. This is one of my March Whip Go calls. This is Quarantine Cats. My Whip Go this year is all my projects that are on there. As my goal is to get to do 5% of the project this year. And I've split that up into like manageable chunks. So some of the projects are on the board 2 times, some are on 3 times. There might be one on there 4 times. Except this project, this is not my oldest full coverage. My oldest full coverage is a Treasure Hunt bookshelf, but this is one of my older, but is also my largest full coverage. And my goal on this one this year is to actually get to 5%. So I am not doing 5%. I'm doing less than 5% to get the project to 5%. This was also a Whip Go call in January, so you've seen this already this year. I'm doing this on 25 count potato Lagana, 1/1 full cross, and this is where it is. The Whip Go call was for 1,500 stitches, and so I did that. Mostly what I did is, let's see if I can get this where I can hold it and show you. Hold on, let me. Mostly what I did is try to fill in. I had little dots here and there that had not, colors that I hadn't done, so I would pick a color and then I would go wherever. So for the most part, I filled in a lot. I filled in some here. There were places here that got filled in, which got carried down here to fill in a little more. So that was the bulk of it. I will put in a picture of where it was before. Been playing with the best place to hold stuff, if I can remember, so that I can show you before and after. Which usually means my face gets blocked, but I don't care. So, where am I? Let's see. So next up is the project that I'm currently doing at least 500 stitches a week on. This is in a bag by Creative Carol with just some hummingbirds on it. So at least 500 stitches a week on, with the goal to finish it. This is, and I apologize if you're new here. As I have been talking, I will have been posting a picture of what the pattern will look like when it finishes, rather than holding up, if I had, anyway, hopefully you will have been seeing pictures of what the pattern will look like it was finished, and you also will have been seeing pictures of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. This is Love is Love by Jan Hicks Creates. I started this on July 4th, 2023. And I'm doing it on 40 count barefoot needle arts sandy toes. I left it in the Q-snap because you can see everything that I've done so far. Let's see if I can get a little closer so you can see that I have done all of the light blue. And it shows, it's not showing up very well on camera, but it shows up better in person than I've shown. And they're all the whites done. So I decided this time to finish this V's before I start going down. I also have done some extra of the purple and the blue, I think, since you last saw it. So I think the last time you saw this was my whip parade, and since then I have done 1,102 stitches, and I'm currently at 29.6%. Yeah, that blue is really not showing up, is it? Of course, neither is the white, but you can see them better in person. I probably should have picked a little bit different fabric for that, but that's okay. I'm not sure. I think that it's probably going to become like the side of a project bag or something. Okay, and then the next two are, so I told you last time that I am putting temperature stitching on hiatus for a while, just because I don't have as much stitching time right now, and it was a struggle to get to it each week. But I did want to get the last two projects that had not made it to 2,000 stitches up to that 2,000. So I did do that. This is in this bag from Whip It Up. And this is Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. I started this January 8th of 2022. I'm doing it on 28 count Picture This Plus Nocturne. And I needed another 300 stitches on this to get it to the 20 times mark, basically, because most of these got over 2,000. It was like I needed to have at least 2,100 stitch days on it. But so I did another 332 stitches on this. It is currently at 43.9%. And most of what I did is in that horse's head and around that area. Overall, using this for temperature stitching, I did 2,169 stitches, and I will put up here now a picture of what it looked like before I started using it for temperature stitching, so you can see the difference in that. And like I said, I liked the temperature stitching. It may very well come back. But if it does, I knew I would not want to pick up with the same projects. So I wanted to get these to at least 2,000 before I put them away for a while. Excuse me. This next one is in this Grinch bag from the Brass Button. This is Winter White Santa by Mirabilia. I started this January 15th of 2022. I'm doing it on 32 count XG design fabric in the Little Dove colorway. This one needed another 700 to get to the 20 calls. And I used this on a Zoom one night. So I actually got another 844 stitches on this since you last saw it. It is currently at 22.8%. I did most of the new stitches in that tree towards the bottom, although a little bit of that gray swoop next to it and everything I did as well. Using this for temperature stitching, this got a total of 2,460 stitches. And so I will put a picture up here of what it looked like before I started using it for temperature stitching. And that is all of my stitching. So what, five projects is all I've worked on, which is a a fewer number of projects for me. But yeah, like I said, there just hasn't been as much stitching time lately. So on the docket, I still have another Whip Go call for March that I haven't touched yet. That is a Peacock, a Unicorn, a Badger by the Scarlet House. I heard somebody, I can't remember, some floss tuber called it, said from here on out they were going to call it pub. And I thought that made a lot of sense to me. I can't remember who said that. And so I need to get 1,800 stitches on that. That is one of my bigger goals for my whip go. Excuse me. Sorry, it's like I couldn't swallow there for a second. I think the pine pollen is not visible in North Carolina yet, but I'm sure it's coming out because my sinuses have really started draining more the last day or two. So in addition to that, to peacock, unicorn, and badger for whip go, I still need to get, I want to do 500, at least 500 stitches a week on Love is Love. And then I'm not really sure what else I'm going to work on the rest of the month. It's going to be largely by feel, just what I feel like. I might have one, maybe two new starts. Leela Studio has released Peace on Earth, which is like the Winter Quaker that I have been waiting for. I do not have it yet because right now it's only released on paper, but she usually puts the PDF up about a month later. So I am waiting on the PDF for that. But when that PDF comes out, I probably will go ahead and start that. Debated waiting for like at least Christmas in July to start it, but I don't know that I'll be able to hold out that long. So I need to, at some point when I just want something different to do, I will probably go ahead and pull the floss and figure out the fabric so that as soon as I can get it on PDF and I have time, I can start it. I'm going for kind of morphing calendar with on the docket. I'm going to Greenville on March 29th for like a day-long retreat. I might do a new start for there, and if I do, it will probably either be a book from the Pigeon Coop Designs book, or it might be one of the Primrose Cottage Quakers. So something smaller that I can do on Ada and feel like I can finish within a reasonable amount of time. I'm really not interested, I don't say not interested, I'm really trying not to start a lot of large projects this year. The Peace on Earth Winter Quaker is a definite exception because I have really been waiting for that project to come out. More and more, I'm liking the idea of planning 60 starts for my 60th birthday and the year after. So what I'm thinking is my 60th birthday is October of 28. That is also the month that I am hopefully planning to retire. So my thought right now is not to start 60 projects in 2028, but to start 60 projects starting October of 28 and the year after until my 61st birthday. And in between now and then, I'm going to try to whip down to a lower number. I'd like to get down to where those 60 projects would not put me over 100, but I don't know if that's possible because I do have quite a few really large projects. So, but, and that's not saying I'm not going to start anything between now and October of 2028, just that I want to try to be more mindful of how many big starts I make so that I can start whipping down my numbers to make more room for those starts. So I've kind of started a list of projects that I might want to be included in those 60. And that doesn't mean that I won't start any of those before that, but it's working for me right now to not start a big project by saying, oh, I can add it to that list. So we'll see how long that lasts, given that we're talking over 3 years from now. By 3 months from now, I might be starting stuff willy-nilly. Who knows? But right now, mentally, it's working for me not to start a ton of stuff. So, but so, like I said, calendar, I do have the Greenville retreat on the 29th. I still also have the same plans for the rest of the year. Chalet retreat, Stitch and Thrift, and Barefoot Needle Arts retreat. The other thing I wanted to mention, kind of calendar, not really, is looking for advice. My husband and I are starting to think about where we want our trip to be this year. We are planning sometime in 2026 to visit our son and his family in Hawaii because he is now stationed in Hawaii with the Army. So this year's trip is going to be not as grand. We want it to be driving distance. And we're thinking about Nashville. So I know a lot of people are just there for market, and I know when you're at market, you don't have time to do tourism stuff. But if anybody is in or around Nashville and has any suggestions for things that we should do or see other than, I mean, the obvious, the Grand Ole Opry, going to see some live music at some of the bars and stuff like that. I need to look, we might make a detour back through Lynchburg or something to do the Jack Daniels distillery, that sort of thing. We eventually will also want to do the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, so I'm not as focused on lots of the distillery type stuff. But anyway, if anybody has any suggestions for anything in Nashville that I wouldn't maybe think of that we should do, or that's really a neat thing to see, or that sort of stuff, please let me know. We're looking probably at sometime in September is our thought. Also, if anybody has a good suggestion for a place to stay that's, you know, reasonably priced. I mean, we usually go Hilton, just because I have points and stuff with them, but we're not dead set on that. You know, we know it's not going to be $100 a night, but I don't want to pay $600 a night, if that makes any sense. So, anyway, if anybody has any suggestions for Nashville, please let me know. So that's it, except for stashing for retirement. And I actually have very little for stashing for retirement this year. This time again. I have placed some orders for some Nashville charts. I didn't do pre-orders. I waited till shops got it, and I've ordered from Stitch New England and Barefoot Needle Arts both. They both will probably be here tomorrow, but I didn't want to wait to go ahead and record this video. So you'll see those next time. Excuse me. I did realize I forgot to order the Prairie Schooler Santa, so I've got to order that at some point. But the only stashing for retirement I have physically to show you is Helen D, excuse me, had showed this older Mill Hill on her video, and it was one I'd never seen but I loved, and so I went and got that from 123 Stitch. And when I ordered it, I also ordered a bunch of DMC for this other project that I bought the PDF for. So I bought Polar Beauty Mandala by Chatelaine, and I'm going to put a picture up here. Chatelaine posted a picture of one of these finished on their page, and it was gorgeous. And like I said, I'm going to the Chatelaine retreat in July, and I know that I will get a smaller kind of specialty stitch project there that I will probably start there. But I decided the only chatelaine otherwise that I've started is my Dragonfly Lace Mandala, which I love. But I thought I wanted to have another chatelaine completely kitted up and ready to probably start at that retreat. So I think, well, I know Polar Beauty Mandala is going to be it. When I got that kit from 123 Stitch, I ordered all the floss for it, all the DMC floss for it. I have ordered the specialty floss, the bead pack, and I made 3 separate orders to European Cross Stitch because I didn't want it all to get held up because of the delay of one. From what I understand right now, anything that's got Gloriana is taking months. So I knew I wanted to order that one separate. But the specialty floss pack had some things in it that I wasn't sure about. So I ordered it separate, and then I ordered the bead pack separate. They did refund one of my shipping costs, so I'm guessing that the specialty floss, the regular specialty floss and the bead pack will ship together at some point, and then the one that has the Gloriana threads will come later. So the only thing I haven't decided on is the fabric. In my head, I want a very pale light blue 32 count even weave. So I need to pull out what's in my stash and see what I have. Although I don't think anything I have in my stash is going to be big enough, because I think I need like 25 by 25 or 27 by 27. And everything I have in my stash is probably going to be fat quarters. So I will probably need to order some fabric. But my hope is that I will have fabric, DMC, regular specialty threads, and beads by July, and might just still be waiting on Gloriana's so that I have enough to start it. So that is really all that I have bought in stashing for retirement. And I think that's it. Actually, a shorter video for me now. I mean, this week, as y'all can tell, my brain is all over the place. And the sinuses are starting to drain because the pollen's starting in North Carolina. But so 2 weeks from now is going to be the weekend that I'm in Greenville on Saturday. I may get a video on Sunday. We will see how that weekend goes and what's going on with work. I may not. So if I don't show up that week, then hopefully I will show up no more than a week or so after that. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. If you are in one of the states that got the really bad weather yesterday and the day before, I hope that you are safe and secure, and I just hope everybody's doing well, and I will see you hopefully in a couple weeks. Till then, take care. Bye, y'all.